Good morning. Today, Khushboo and I are, let me just make sure, okay. Good morning. Today, Khushboo and I are going to read Discourse 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 1 through 11. Because of timing today and a strict lockdown in India, we have to cut it short. So we've decided to arbitrarily cut it short after verse 11. And so this is the 13th discourse, Matter and Spirit. Slok 1.
Ida Sharira Konteya Kshetra Nitya Vidhiyate Etado Vedti Ta Prahyu Kshetragya Iti Tadidaha. Slok 1.
And so I'm reading from Laurie Patton's translation, which is a poetic translation, which is the Penguin Classic. I'm also reading from the Light Illuminations Bhagavad Gita, published by SkyLight Paths and translated by Shri Purohit Swami, and annotations by Kendra, Crossen, Burroughs, and from the Bhagavad Gita translated by R.K. Sharma with Carol Pitts and Les Morgan. So the Patton reads, Arjuna said, Lovely-haired one, I want to know matter and spirit, the sacred ground, and those who know the sacred ground, wisdom, and the object of wisdom. Prose reads, Arjuna asked, My Lord, who is God and what is nature? What is matter and what is the self? What is that they call wisdom, and what is it that is worth knowing? I wish to have this explained. And the Sharma reads, The Blessed Lord said, O son of Kunti, O son of Kunti, this body is called the Kshetra. One who knows this is called the Kshetri. I'm just wondering if this has changed the order. Just a moment. Okay. I'll read this again. The Blessed Lord said, O son of Kunti, this body is called the Kshetra. One who knows this is called the Kshetriya by those conversant with this. And there's a footnote. The word Kshetra is not easily translated into English. It is often called a field or area, an object of knowledge to be thoroughly understood. The entire visible world, including every atom and this body, is Kshetra. If one has complete knowledge of any Kshetra, that person is said to be Kshetra knower of the Kshetra. Here we leave the word Kshetra untranslated in this chapter. The Kshetra corresponds to the body and to Prakriti, nature, and this Kshetra corresponds to Purusha, consciousness. Slok 2.
Kshetrangya Chapi Ma Vidhi Sarvakshetreshu Bharat Kshetra Kshanyo Jnana Yatyajyatana Mata Mama. Slok 2.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have confused things, and let me explain why. There's a note in the beginning of Discourse 13 that says the first unnumbered verse of chapter 13 is omitted from many editions of the Gita. And so it was omitted. It was omitted in both translations, except for the Sharma. So I think we should start again, because what I just read out of the Sharma is the opening verse, and it's omitted from the other two translations. So you and I are out of sync right now. So let me begin this again. Is that okay, Khushboo?
Sure.
I
doubt
okay.
it matters to our listeners.
Okay, so let's.
So if you can read what you haven't read yet.
Okay, what I'm going to do
then we can start from slok 2.
Okay, what I'm going to read is sloks 1 and 2. That should bring it up, or clarify, I hope. The Blessed One said, "Son of Kunti, this body is the sacred ground. The wise ones say the one who knows this is the one called the knower of the sacred ground. Son of Bharata, recognize also that I am the one who knows the sacred ground. In all sacred grounds, knowledge of both sacred ground and the knower of the sacred ground, that I consider wisdom." And then the prose reads then. Lord Shri Krishna replied, verses 1 and 2, "O Arjuna, the body of man is the playground of the self, and that which knows the activities of matter, sages call the self. I am the omniscient self that abides in the playground of matter. Knowledge of matter and of all-knowing self is wisdom." And there is a footnote here. Playground, literally the field, kshetra. The body is called field because the fruits of action are reaped in it as in a field, and because it is subject to decay, Nikhilananda. Other translations title this chapter "The Field of the Knower of the Field," and the field signifies matter or nature. The knower of the field is spirit. And then the Sharma, verses 1 and 2 in the Sharma. "O son of Kunti, this body is called the Kshetra. One who knows this is called this Kshetra na by those conversant with this." And the second verse reads, "Also know me as the Kshetra na, knower of the Kshetra. In all Kshetras, O descendant of Bharata, that knowledge which pertains to the Kshetra and the Kshetra na is considered by me to be real knowledge." Slok 3.
Tate kshetra yachya yadaka cha yadvikari yatascha yata sachayo yat prabhavasya tatasamasena me shrunu. Slok 3.
The Patton reads, "Hear from me in brief what this sacred ground is and what its nature is, what its transformations are and where they arise from. Here also, know the knower is the knower's power. Prose reads, what is called matter, of what it is composed, whence it came, and why it changes, what the self is, and what its power. This I will now briefly set forth. Sharma reads, what that Ksetra is, what it is like, what its evolution is, and where it evolves from, who the knower of that is, and what his powers are. Hear that briefly from me. Hear that briefly from me. Slok 4.
ऋषि धीर्बाहुधा गीता छन्दोभिर्विद्धेः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदेश्यैव हेतुमद्वितीय विनिश्चितैः. No 4.
The Patton reads, chanted by the sages in many ways, one by one with various meters, with thread-like verses, focusing on Brahman and reasoned through decisively. Prose reads, seers have sung it in various ways, in many hymns and sacred Vedic songs, weighty in thought and convincing in argument. Patton reads, all this has been sung by the sages this is the Sharma. All this has been sung by the sages in a number of ways, by several types of metrical verses separately, and also by statements in the Brahma Sutra with conclusive logical arguments. Slok 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are together.
महाभूतान्यहदारो बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशेक च पद्भ्यः चैनेन्द्रियगोचरा. That's Slok 5. This is Slok 6. इच्छा देश सुख दुख सदा तश्चेतना धृतिः एतत्तज्ञेन्द्र समासेन सविकार मुदा हततम. Slok 6.
The gross elements and awareness of I, the power of insight and that beyond form, the 11 powers of senses and the 5 arenas where the senses act, desire, hatred, pleasure, and pain, the whole body, the power of thought and of firmness. This is the sacred ground, explained in brief with its examples. The prose reads, the 5 great fundamentals, earth, fire, air, water, and ether, personality, intellect, the mysterious life force, the 10 organs of perception and action, the mind and the 5 domains of sensation, desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, sympathy, vitality, and the persistent clinging to life. These are in brief the constituents of changing matter. And there's a footnote. Out of the primal material nature first evolves the intellect, buddhi, then the personality, ahamkara, ego, or sense of I, then the lower mind, manas, which mediates between the ego and the 10 sense organs. See diagram page 106. The sense organs, ears, eyes, skin, tongue, and nose, are linked respectively in experience to the 5 elements: space, fire, air, water, and earth, through the corresponding 5 senses: hearing, sight, touch, taste, and smell. Mysterious life force is avita, the unmanifest, undifferentiated nature, which is the source of manifest forms. The term prakriti can mean both manifest and unmanifest nature. According to Shankara, this life force is the creative energy, Shakti, of the Lord, equated with Maya. And I can show this diagram. Maybe I have another way to show it here if I put it out. So just a moment. I think I should show this diagram. It's going to be worth seeing, I think. I'm going to have to turn that off, and then I have to do it on my cell phone with my Epicam. All right, hold on. It's coming up. I have a magic new camera to be able to show these things. Just a moment. Magic new camera is my cell phone. Okay, getting there. So here's the diagram. So at the top it reads, the 24 principles of nature according to Sankhya philosophy. Purusha, spirit, is at the top. Number 1 at the top is Prakriti, nature. Number 2 is Bodhi, intellect, discriminative intelligence. Number 3 is Ahamkara, ego, I, consciousness. Number 4, coming down now, is Manas, mind, organ of thought. And then that points to several different things. 5 through 9, the organs of perception: hearing, skin, eyes, tongue, nose. 10 through 14 are and action: speech, grasping, walking, reproduction, and elimination. The third column is subtle elements: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. And 20 through 24 are the cross elements: ether, which is space, air, fire, water, and earth. Okay. I think that's got it for now. Are you still with me there, Khushboo?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now what have we been reading? We've been reading 6 and 7, was it?
Yes.
Okay, so I still have to read the Sharma. Oh no, it was 5 and 6. Okay, so the great elements: the ego, the intellect, unmanifested nature as well, the 10 sense and motor organs, the one mind, and the 5 objects of senses: desire, hatred, happiness, misery. The combination of all these together with sentences and with sentience and steadfastness, this etc. and its evolutes are thus briefly described. Okay, so now what's next is verses 7 through 11. Sloka 7 through 11.
It is not together in my reading, but I'll still read it.
Yeah, well, it is in the Sharma, so because of one of our versions has it together, let's do it together. 7 through 11.
Amanitva madab bhin tatva mahisa shaninta rajar varma acharyopasana socha thayeya matma vinigraha aha. Look 7.
Are you going to keep reading?
Indriyateshu vairagya manah dakara eva cha janma mrityu jara vyasudha dukha doshanu darshanama. Look 8. Asatira nabhi vyavandadya पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्य च समचित्तत्व मिष्टानिष्टोपपतिषु. Slook 9. मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विवि तत्तदेश सेवित्वमरति जर्न संसदि. Slook 10. अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्व तत्व ज्ञानार्थदर्शन एतांग्य ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तमज्ञान यदतोदन दन्य था. Slook 11.
The Patton reads, sloks 7 through 11. Absence of arrogance, absence of deceit, absence of harm, patience and virtue, sitting with one's teacher, purity, steadfastness, or steadiness, and the restraint of the self, indifference to the objects of sense, and the absence of awareness of I, holding in mind the wrongs of pain, illness, old age, birth, and death, absence of clinging, absence of grasping to things such as home, wife, and child, and eternally with thoughts which are even-minded toward desire and undesired events, not found of crowds of people, resorting to a place apart without straying from devotion to me and with no other form of yoga, being eternally in the wisdom of the Supreme Self, holding in mind the aim of the wisdom of truth. This is declared as true wisdom, and its contrary is ignorance. That was the Patton. The prose reads, humility, sincerity, harmlessness, forgiveness, rectitude, service of the master, purity, steadfastness, self-control, renunciation of the delights of sense, absence of pride, right understanding of the painful problems of birth and death, and of age and sickness, indifference, non-attachment to sex, progeny, or home, equanimity in good fortune and in bad, unswerving devotion to me by concentration on me and me alone, a love for solitude, indifference to social life, constant yearning for the knowledge of self and the pondering over the lessons of the great truth. This is wisdom. All else is ignorance. Sharma reads, freedom from conceit, freedom from hypocrisy, nonviolence, forgiveness, straightforwardness, sitting close to the teacher, purity, stability, self-control, indifference towards objects of the senses, and freedom from ego as well, contemplation on the defects of birth, death, old age, disease, and suffering, detachment, freedom from too much attachment to son, wife, home, etc., and constant equanimity towards desirable or undesirable events, exclusive, unswerving devotion to me, resorting to solitude, not wishing to be surrounded by crowds of people, constant focus on knowledge of the self, realization of the goal of knowledge of truth. This is declared to be true knowledge. The opposite of this constitutes ignorance. And there's a footnote. Verses 7 through 11 give a list of traits that are associated with the development of spiritual knowledge. Okay, so thank you very much, Khushboo. I will see you again when? Tomorrow? At this time or
Yeah,
when?
we'll decide it. I think we'll decide it. I'll text you.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for today. We've been reading Discourse 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 1 through 11. And this concludes our broadcast for today.